pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Rivera?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Mr. Condit?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Silverston?
Here.
Mr. Walter?
Here.
Approval of meeting minutes from November 10th, 2015.
So moved.
Second. Roll call on approval of minutes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina?
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Amendments to the agenda.
Yes, sir, I have one. Resolution 92, 2015. A resolution to authorize and direct the mayor to execute and enter into an agreement with the Legal Defender's Office of Suffolk County, Ohio, Inc. for the representation of eligible indigent persons and declaring an emergency.
Second. Roll call on adding resolution 92.
Mr. Molina?
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes. We'll go into reports. Mayor?
Yeah. I need a executive session to sometime discuss potential legal issues.
Okay. You want to Sure you can. Okay. We'll do that after legislation.
Yes.
Right? Make that motion.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion for an executive session after the legislative portion of this meeting.
Second. Roll call on adding the executive session.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Walter? Or Molina, sorry. Mr. Molina?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, what's wrong with your voice?
What?
What? What's wrong with your voice?
I'm just getting over it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I guess that you talked about California Street, we were talking about California Street, the grant. They raised the grant a little more to California Street. We have Aurora, who's gonna put forth about the $300,000. Now it's $359,588, and loan of $255,000, which is like the 1% loan through OPWC. That we were, Gene, and then we're gonna value engineer some stuff out. That was to do California Street and concrete. We're looking at just doing rolled concrete curbs and asphalt, and not having to go through that full depth that we always do on the other streets. But the idea is to try to get the water, which would actually, Al's not here, but we remove the water from his backyard totally, because everything we've put on the other side of the street. Also, hopefully, it would eliminate the flooding issues that we have down on Nautilus Trail at the other end, because a lot of the water that came from over there, back behind Maryland, everything would go straight into the lake.
You can't take all the water out of Al's backyard.
I-
It'd remove his reason to live.
Well, no, I can't. Well, how do I say that in a nice way? I want to make him happy. The other thing I'll go through, last night, for anybody didn't get up here, get a chance to see, you know, these are the drawings for the rec center. Ponji had brought in the stone. He will send us the copies, the samples again. But the dark area here is a lighter stack stone, is that what you call it, stack stone? The lighter stack stone. Down at the bottom here, and here, and here, and here is a darker stone, is a like bigger type stone. And in between, what do they call it? Ephus. Ephus?
Ephus colors.
Yeah, because your company makes Ephus too, right? Old companies. Your old company, oh, okay. So, lighter ephes here, darker ephes here, right? Is that how it was? But it looks like a good mix, and this is, like we said, we already have behind us.
Looks like road
That's
fences.
this.
There's that, with some access stripes going this way and this way.
Can you get the palm trees too?
Yeah. So, that's the latest update I have right now.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Carpenter?
I received an email from Ms. Wardell today regarding the tax ordinance with regard to the RETA rules and regulations. Those are already incorporated into, I know each member of council got a copy of that too. Those are already incorporated into that ordinance, so we do not need to take any further action on that. And I know that Mr. DiCarlo wanted to talk a little further about this ordinance tonight, so.
Might as well go now, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I think.
The new ordinance does not mention anything about how the 0.5% has to
The
go to the.
disbursement.
What's that?
The disbursement.
The disbursement, right,
Tax.
0.5% of the 1.5% income tax collection, has to go to the fire department. And the new ordinance does not mention anything about that, so I feel we should put that in there somewhere, but I don't know how.
Yeah, Tom and I went back and forth on this. The present ordinance, for the section of the code book that's gonna stay in effect for a couple more years, has a section on there with regard to the disbursement of income tax funds that come in. It's wrong, and it's been wrong for 17 years, okay? So, obviously, it's not that important of a provision. If you really read through this new ordinance, it's really just about the collection and the imposition of taxes. Really has nothing to do with the internals here, it's just really more on businesses and individuals with regard to strictly the collection of taxes. With regard to disbursements, the internal things that go on here, it could be in there, it's not improper to be in there, but it's fine without that language in there. She knows how it's supposed to be dispersed, she's been doing it for years, but it's been dispersed that way since 1998, despite the fact that the codified ordinances section is wrong. So it's up to council, and Tom and I went around and around about it, but you know, to me, I'm a little hesitant to just go ahead and change it without council having a chance to at least discuss it. You know, my opinion is it's not really consistent with the rest of that ordinance, because it deals with this internal disbursement of assets into our funds. The new ordinance deals strictly with the collection and the imposition of the tax on our residents and our businesses. So, but it is up to council. It would be simple to put in a provision, much like our old ordinance, and say whatever the percentages are. You know, go in the general fund and into the fire department.
There is an ordinance for him, for the 0.5%. We do have an ordinance for that.
There is an ordinance from actually there was an ordinance that put it on the ballot for the 0.5%, and it was approved. So, and that's the way the ballot language was, to approve an increase from 1% to 1.5% tax. That's already in this new ordinance. That's what I'm saying. That's an imposition and collection of a tax. You know, so it has nothing to do with once she receives the check or checks.
Where she disperses.
Where she disperses it. That's more of an internal function. So it's up to council. Tom and the rest of the council want to put that provision in there. The one that's presently in there is 191.11, if you want to see how it looks. Although it's wrong, the percentage in there is wrong. It has 100% going to the general fund.
Right.
When it should be 67.
Right, and that's the main reason why I wanted it.
Why don't
Well,
we
whatever you
why don't
wanna
we fix
do,
that
Tom.
as opposed to,
What's that?
why don't we fix that as opposed to changing this new one? But putting that in the new one.
Now, the old one, the old ordinance is only going to be effective for
2 more years.
Well, it could go more than that. Typically, without fraud, the IRS, or RETA in this particular case, can only go back 3 tax years to audit you, unless there's fraud, and then they can go back further. So if, theoretically, this could stay in effect for 13 years. It's not gonna affect any tax collection or imposition going forward, but there are people that are gonna be paying taxes for 2015, 2014, 2013, that can still be audited under the old provisions. So it's not gonna be repealed, it's not gonna go away, so that entire section's gonna stay. And again, it's an internal function. Just like the old one, I could put a provision at the end, right before the penalty provision, saying basically the same thing, with the right numbers in it. And doesn't change anything with that ordinance.
What does everybody else have? What are their wishes?
I mean, how Paul described it, it makes perfectly sense to not have to have it in there. If it's just dealing with collection of said taxes. But
Yeah, if you take a close look at it, that's all it is it imposes the tax, and then it defines who is obligated to pay taxes, defines the rates, defines, out-of-town people, business people, and a whole lot of other things that are well over my head in the tax realm. But it doesn't deal with the disbursement of funds. I mean, if we're gonna do something like that, I'd prefer to come up with a separate piece of legislation, telling the fiscal officer, this is how it has to be dispersed. Can you put it in here? Absolutely. Now's the time to do it if we're gonna add that language, because we're gonna have one more reading on it, and we're gonna pass it by emergency.
What do you want, Tom?
Everybody knows what I want, I just think it should be in there. It doesn't hurt for it to be in there, so why not have it in there?
Then let's do what Tom wants.
All right, what language do you want?
The language that is in the ballot that I sent you, the ballot language.
Well, the ballot language didn't deal with the distribution of those.
Yeah, it said 0.5% goes to the fire,
Yeah.
has to be spent on the fire department, I don't know.
Remember the email I sent you that had the 191.11 attached to it? That would be, if you're gonna add anything, I would add language like that.
But that didn't
But
mention
put the
anything.
proper, I would, instead of saying it's gonna be dispersed, let me see how it's worded. It says,
Because it didn't mention
cost
anything
to
about
read is
fire.
gonna be taken out of it. I went over it with Deborah. And then the balance remaining after payment of the expenses referred to above, hereinafter shall be deposited and used in the following manner. A, general fund, 100%.
But
That's the
not-
way it's worded here.
But it's not 100%.
I would change it.
Right, that's what I mean.
If this is the language we want,
Yeah.
we can do that, but I'll make it general fund 67?
66.67,
Correct.
66.67.
33.33.
I thought we had an ordinance that gave it to them. Oh, wait,
I'm sorry?
I thought we already have an ordinance that gave them 0.5%.
I'm not familiar with this, Tom.
Yeah, and I think it's that simple, just those couple, yeah. Yeah, is that the ordinance, Tom? Is that what the?
No, that was a memo I sent to him in 2001.
Oh,
Keep all this stuff.
oh, that's good.
Thank God. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll have another item to bring up to you, Paul.
Go ahead.
We approved, it's ordinance 65, 2015 for the purchase of property through the JED.
The resolution 265?
Correct.
Okay.
So now it's happening in the next, I think they said in the next week or two, they said it'll be complete.
Yes.
So I don't know what legally, what needs to be done as far as a purchase agreement between two municipal, or
Well,
entities.
is the JED buying it?
Yes,
And it's gonna be.
And it's being
Twinsburg
split
Township.
70-30 between,
The ownership of the property is gonna be 75% Twinsburg Township.
70
and
Twinsburg Township.
25% or
30.
70-30.
right, correct.
Yeah, we should be a signature on a purchase agreement, absolutely, unless you're authorizing whoever runs the JED to do that.
Is Al doing
What's it?
it? Is Al doing it?
Yeah, I know,
He's probably doing it on behalf of the JED.
Right.
We should have at least a look at it and approve it by, because Sam's gonna have to sign something somewhere, unless the JED's doing all of the purchasing of it. I haven't seen the documents you guys put together for that, so it's difficult for me to give you
well, this just
one
happened,
square answer.
what, yesterday? So, I'm just
Typically,
bringing it up,
parties-
I don't know what we need to do.
Typically, and not typically, always, the parties to the agreement to be a valid enforceable agreement have to sign it. So if we are gonna be a party to it, we should be signing it. We're gonna be paying money, we're gonna own it, we should at least review it, sign off on it.
So know that it's
So at
coming
some
here
point in time, yes,
soon.
at some point in time, we'll, by either resolution, we should do it by resolution, because we'll be thrown, we actually approved the money, right?
Yeah, the money's already.
Yeah, so either by motion, authorize him to sign it, or by resolution, passing it by emergency, authorizing Sam to sign that.
Can a JED own property?
No,
I don't think so.
it's
So
my opinion that they
It's gonna
cannot.
be, it's 30% village owns it,
Yeah.
70%
Is that how it's
the
gonna?
townships.
Yeah, that's the way I would anticipate that it's going to be. I
Well,
know there's
if-
different opinions on that, but I don't think our JED is permitted to own property in its name.
If that's the case, then in the event of sale of the property, both parties have to sign off on it,
Correct.
not one,
That's correct.
not a majority partner, both parties.
That party could sell their 70%.
Yeah.
If they could identify.
If they could, right, exactly. Who-
Well, they would sell their 70% to whoever by quitclaim deed, and they would get whatever interest they had. You know, they'll have 70% of the 100%.
The shareholder.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I don't
Trust
know
me, it
if I-
doesn't make a lot of sense for someone to buy 70%, because then the 30% owner can always tell them, I'm not selling it. So the resale might be difficult.
Selling at the right price.
Yeah. Make me an offer I can't
Right.
So I wanted to bring that up,
That
because
comes,
I don't know how that works. so.
Tell Rob to forward anything to me, if you would. If not, Al Trader can.
Okay.
You know, Al and I know each other, so.
Very good.
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Engineering, Keith?
Okay, the Nautilus Trail East, the Cleveland Water refund of the additional funds that we requested. The original request was $77,000. They came back and said they would only approve 20,000 of the 32,000 for the one item, and then 5,000 of the 8,000 that we requested for another item. And then we kind of went back and forth. They came back and said they would pay 54,000 total, argued a little bit further and got them up to 61,000. So they finally agreed to repay an additional 61,000 out of that 77 that we requested. So that is closed as far as Cleveland Water is concerned. And I don't know if they're, I think Gene had talked to you today. I don't know if you had anything about that. No? The next two items, Castaway Cove and the California-Florida easements. Both of these have been brought up several times by residents. I did some research on the Castaway Cove easement. The language on the recorded plat states that it is the responsibility of the developer and then the association to maintain that easement. I will go back to the resident and make sure that they understand that. When we did the dedication of the street, we did not accept the waterway easements in that dedication.
And they were not attached to those streets anyways.
No.
They were on the other side of all the housing units.
Correct. The California-Florida easement question, documentation that I have all states that it was a temporary easement. I informed Mr. and Mrs. Williams that if they had any documentation stating otherwise, please provide us with that. They have not provided me with anything. We did a deed search to see what their deed says. There was no image available on the county recorder site, so I do not have any additional information on that at this time. California Street, we did receive a notification from OPWC today that they had received all of our documentation that had been requested, and they were processing the agreement and sending that out. Construction status updates. I've mentioned previously that Liberty Ledges is going to need some variance requests. They have not submitted anything for the Board of Zoning Appeals, so the next possible time that they could go before the zoning board would be January at this point. Glenwood Greens is also going to need a variance. Bob Rodick suggests a blanket variance. This would allow for covered porches to encroach the front setback. As it stands, some of the houses that they have submitted for approval will have front porches that extend into the setback, which that's approvable, but the covered porch is not. And then the senior apartments, they're moving along, but their sprinkler plan was reviewed and rejected by the master plans examiner and has been sent back for additional information. That's all I have.
On those covered front porches, is that approvable though?
Bob said that it is something that could have a variance given to it. He said that, he explained to them what they needed to put in their application, and I have not received that.
Okay. So they just want to do a blanket one throughout, in
Yes.
case anybody wants it.
Correct.
And that would cover us from not having that problem we had with Harrington and Dax.
Back decks.
Yes.
Yep. One thing, do you have any information on 3743 Skippers, that temporary easement for the backyard?
I have not received anything from OHM. I know that we sent that over to them, asking them to draw up a plan, and I have not received anything back.
Okay, is that something you can follow up on?
I will talk to Scott on that.
Thank you. Okay, Service Department, Mr. Scaffidi's report is inbox, so if you haven't read it, you should take a look at it. Also, he's got legislation, we're going to second reading tonight on salt, and he asked me this morning if we could pass that by emergency, not that we have any snow coming in the near future, but the sooner we pass it, the sooner he can get that bin filled up and start taking our allocation, and get feel a little more comfortable having the salt in there, so if we can pass that at second reading tonight, he would appreciate it, and I agree, that is something we should do. Okay, we'll go to Rec Center.
Mayor has already discussed what happened yesterday with the architecture committee, and I'm sure they'll have a few comments to make also. Been busy up there, footers are in, they're getting ready, I think, to put the shell up very soon, within the next couple of weeks. So it seems to look like it's been just sitting there for a while, and now all of a sudden a lot of activity, so moving along well.
Thank you all. Deborah?
I don't have a report, but would ask council if they could pass ordinance 27 by emergency on the second reading tonight. And if there are any questions on, I've made some additions to the appropriations. If you would answer any questions that you might have. I did send an email, but it was late today, so I'm not sure that everyone received that.
That was in your Outlook accounts, explaining all those transfers. That's it?
Okay.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Chief Buck?
No report.
By the way, I like how both came tonight, since the last time I made a comment? That you were wanting to say? Trying to prove me wrong, huh?
Chief Plunkett? No report. It really isn't that,
They are one of
because always one of them has something to say.
You know, Gene's never here when you two are here. Maybe that's it.
More complicated as we go along.
Yes, it does.
Architectural Board of Review.
But Gene's not here when he's here.
Architectural Board of Review met last night, as already been stated, we approved the elevation for the Reminderville Recreation Center. So excited about that. We also approved a dock, as well as the home that is going to be replacing the house on Dolphin Cove that burned down, so, or the 2 units that burned down, so.
Are they replacing both or just one?
Both. And
Is it basically the same
same
thing?
thing.
I hope they have a better grill.
Well, when I drove by on Friday or Saturday, and the hot water tank was still sitting on the pad, and the 2 burned out propane tanks were still sitting on the pad, and everything else was just concrete pad with that sitting on there. Thank you, Mark. Planning and zoning, should be no report. Board of Zoning Appeals, no appeals. Finance,
Finance met today at 6:30, recommended payments in the amount of $174,548.79, of which $143,000 of that is the normal JED disbursement. And our next meeting will be December 8th, 6:30. That's it.
thank you. Cable,
I have no report.
communications,
Communication, our next meeting is Tuesday, the 1st, which poses a little bit of a problem, because I know we have the rec center, but, when I talked to somebody, I think we talked a little bit about this at the budgetary meeting that we had last, but I've gotten 2, and I can share with you, Sam, so you can check it out, and the rest of you, but, I've gotten 2 proposals back for a new app, and how I look at it is, one's kind of the Cadillac, and one's kind of like a Yugo. One is extremely expensive to get set up, and affordable to maintain yearly, and then one is extremely cheap to set up and extremely inexpensive to maintain. I have examples from both companies on my phone, if you'd like to take a look. I got both contracts, but one is, yes, that's kind of where I'm at. So I guess I'm hoping I can maybe find one more that's gonna fit right in between those 2.
Hey, Goldilocks.
What's really expensive?
It's $25,000 to get set up.
Wait,
Yeah.
that is really expensive.
Now, I have yet to go back to them and say, can you do it for 10? You know, I haven't yet started any negotiations, because I don't know, I guess I wanted to, because I will say this, I was very impressed with the presentation. I think they would do great. It's about $33,000 a year to maintain, which is less expensive than what we were spending yearly, I believe, for the AT&T. So that's good.
Is 10,000 a good price?
I don't do this enough to know. I think that's
Maybe we
much
should
more
set up a
palatable.
debt fund, like our
I-
emergency
That
vehicle.
part's true.
No, I think, so,
What's the difference between AT&T and the yearly maintenance cost with this company? You said we'd save some money.
AT&T was $4,000.
4, and what's this company?
Three.
3, so you only save
The
$1,000.
AT&T was regularly $8,000. When I negotiated with them, we went to 4, and I would go talk to other mayors for them.
here's the thing, both of them, even the inexpensive one, check, it does push notifications, it does, you know, you could put the forms in the app where someone could say, I'm gonna be out, and it goes to the police, you know, they can contact Stacy through it, has all the calendar, it has, you know, it checks all the boxes, it's just, again, you might wanna see it, so maybe after the meeting, or in between, if people wanna take a look. And again, I'll look for another one, but, if anyone has any ideas about where, if I can get the guy down to for initial setup, you know, that's kind of where we're at. Anybody
you have it on your phone, can other people put it on their phone so they can try it out beforehand? I mean, that might be important to
Well,
the council members to make a decision.
It's other communities.
I see.
It's just an example of, here's one that we've done for another municipality.
So we could just download. Whose community do you have?
I'll give them to you guys after.
Okay. And Mark, on resolution 71 on,
Yeah, but, I was hoping to have it today, but should have two by next meeting, but, I thought I'd have the one for tonight, but
did you talk to Open Systems, that company from
Yeah.
Sam? How did they look?
I'm waiting on both proposals.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The other one though that I was talking to, I thought I'd have by today, but I didn't. I have both.
Thank you.
So, sorry, one more table.
All right. That's it?
Yeah.
Long-term community development, I have no report. Parks and Rec,
Well, as we've been talking about, Luminosity is gonna happen this Saturday. It starts at 6 o'clock at Twinsburg City Hall, and will end up at the square. Also, we have the Santa delivery coming up quickly after that. The gift drop-off is Thursday, December 3rd, and you can bring things up to the Village Hall from 8 to 4, or to the fire station from 6 to 8. The delivery itself is Saturday, December 12th, from 1 o'clock till we're done.
thank you, Mark. Records,
No report.
seniors,
Seniors, I only have one thing left on their calendar before they wrap it up. They're gonna have their luncheon at 1 o'clock on December 8th at the Heritage Hall. Like they said, they wanted to finish where they started.
thank you. And Judd.
Jed's next meeting is Tuesday, December 1st, 7 o'clock at Twinsburg Township Hall. That's it.
Thank you, Tom. Table legislation will remain tabled. Ordinance 25, 2015. An ordinance amending chapter 191 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Reminderville regarding An ordinance amending chapter 191 of the codified ordinances of Reminderville, Ohio regarding municipal income taxation, third reading. Ordinance 26, 2015. An ordinance to amend section 139.12B of the codified ordinances of the Village of Reminderville entitled Uniform Clothing Allowances, third reading. Ordinance 27, 2015, an emergency ordinance to make appropriations and transfer adjustments for the 2015 village budget, second reading. Ordinance 28, 2015, an ordinance to adopt the appropriation of funds for fiscal year 2016, second reading. Ordinance 29, 2015, an ordinance to increase the annual salary of the village fiscal officer to $49,013.58, effective January 3rd, 2016, second reading. Ordinance 30, 2015, an ordinance to increase the annual salary of the village administrative assistant clerk of council to $39,655, effective January 3rd, 2016, second reading. Ordinance 31, 2015, an ordinance to increase the annual salary of the village supervisor of public service to $27,371.22, effective January 3rd, 2016, second reading. Ordinance 32, 2015, an ordinance to increase the hourly rate of the service department employees, effective January 3rd, 2016, second reading. Ordinance 33, 2015, an ordinance to amend the salary provisions of the police department personnel, effective January 3rd, 2016, second reading. Ordinance 34, 2015, an ordinance to amend the salary provisions of the fire department personnel, effective January 3rd, 2016, second reading. Resolution 86, 2015, a resolution to adopt the holiday schedule determined by Mayor Alonso for calendar year 2016, second reading. Resolution 87, 2015, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with First Choice Coffee and Water Service for coffee and other services for the village of Reminderville in an amount not to exceed $2,500 per year, second reading. Resolution 88, 2015, a resolution to purchase road salt from Cargill Incorporated de-icing technology through the CUE Cooperative Purchasing Program at a price not to exceed $54.47 per ton for the 2015-2016 winter season, second reading. Resolution 89, 2015, a resolution to hire OHM advisors as village engineer commencing January 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2017, second reading. Resolution 90, 2015, a resolution to accept the amounts and rates as determined by the Summit County Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the fiscal officer for first reading. Resolution 91, 2015, a resolution to accept the resignation from the Reminderville Police Department and revoke the police commission of Christopher Bruno and declaring an emergency, first reading. Resolution 92, 2015, a resolution to authorize and direct the mayor to execute and enter into an agreement with the Legal Defender's Office of Summit County, Ohio, Incorporated, for the representation of eligible indigent persons in declaring an emergency.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss possible legal items.
Second.
Roll call on adjourning to executive session.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeGarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condon?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Slosson?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Hey, Paul, will you get that red button?
Why was over there?
Because there is.
Terry, has it been on the whole time?
No. Second.
Roll call.
So when people watch it.
Mr. DeGarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condon?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Slosson?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Old business? Old business? New business?
New business.
Move to adjourn.
Wait, give me 1 second. Just so you know, if Mayor Prokop was her, 30th is gonna be her last day, and we sent over a rocking chair for her retirement from Reminderville, so we said by those,
30th of December or?
of November,
Oh, she's ending it?
yes.
Because their terms run through November, they start December 1st.
So Macedonia is like that too, because Mayor Kush goes out and the mayor's coming in. Also, for those of you that have been with the JED long enough and the scholarship program and stuff that we've done with Kent State University, Dean Moen, who was instrumental in working with us to get that up and going, passed away the night before with a battle of cancer, brain cancer. So keep the family in your prayers, and he was really good for Twinsburg and Burton and Kent State as a whole. That's all I have.
Anything else on new business?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condon?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Slosson?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeGarlo?
Yes.